Evening all. This is fourth night I've done this little bit of a video and that. And hello to everyone. Hope you're all well. Hope we're all surviving, as we all are at the moment. Anyway, yeah. Back to what we've been doing, and this is like part of my book Memoirs, all about supporting Queen's Park Rangers Football Club and memories. That's why I called it Memoirs, because it's memories of the R's, supporting the R's. And tonight I'm going to talk about my greatest ever game at QPR that I went to see. And there's loads, obviously. You could go on and on. You could do write a book on that alone, couldn't you? Everyone could write their own book, and everyone could write their own book about what their greatest games were. I can't even remember. I haven't even looked at the book because I remember what I wrote about it, but I'm going to just go off the top of my head and then read some more bits out from who contributed in and what their greatest games were. But go right back to the beginning, you know, when I first went to QPR in 1977-78. Obviously, a great game for me. It was my first ever away game when we beat Chelsea 3-1, the fucking enemy. Done them 3-1 on their patch at Stamford Bridge. It was amazing, and it was only my second ever game supporting QPR or going to QPR, and it was my first ever away game as well. Had some great players as well then, and yeah, so that was taking me into the late 70s. I think we beat Burnley in 79, I think, 7-0. That was another brilliant match. Then we're going into the early 80s. Obviously, that FA Cup run that got us to Wembley against Spurs. Every one of those games I went to, apart from the away game, I can't remember where we played. Did we play Blackpool to get there, or Middlesbrough or something? I can't remember. I think it's Borough. I didn't go to that one. But the quarter final, man, against Palace, that was mental, wasn't it? As a kid, 14-year-old, best pal Mark, we was right in the corner of the loft. It was packed that day, and to beat them. They had a load of fans there as well. They packed out the away end. I think they had a few others dotted around or whatever. But beat them 1-0. Clive Allen got the winner right near the very end. And he ran up to the Palace fans, give it some of that, like. And that was wicked because that just sparked off some kind of riot. And as a 14-year-old kid, depends what sort of 14-year-old kid you are, obviously. But I was a bit of a delinquent kid, so I loved it. You know, I loved all that aggravation at the time. Everyone was on the pitch. Palace come on the pitch. QPR went on the pitch. It was kicking off all over the place, inside and out, and everywhere you went. It was quite hairy actually coming out of there because me and Martin sort of went round. For some reason, we walked back round the other way from the loft back towards Blowfontaine Road, and we ended up in the middle of this massive firm, which we thought was QPR at the time, but it was Palace, and it was quite hairy. But I heard it was all going off everywhere anyway. And that was one of my favourite games. And of course, the final itself was, you know, the first game. The second game we was all over Spurs. You know, we should have won that, and it still breaks my heart to this very day that we lost that game. To be honest with you, to a Glenn Hoddle penalty, but we hit the post with a goal disallowed. We was all over them. That FA Cup was ours, man. But that's the way it goes, you know. So that was also a great game for me. Loved it. Going to Wembley to see the Mighty R's at the Twin Towers and that. You know, we marched there from Shepherd's Bush, as QPR fans always do when we get to Wembley. March from the ground. We actually met at the ground and walked all the way up there in a massive herd and up past Scrubs Lane, up through Wilson Junction and that. As a kid, you know, it's just so exciting. But the replay we went up, and mates mix. Lee Hillier, his dad Mick used to take us in the Sherpa van everywhere, home and away, like. Great bloke Mick, what a lovely fella he is. You know, he's fostered kids before and he's run a youth club, he's a top man. He used to take us, you know, home and away with a few of us, right up to Rotherham and Barnsley and all sorts of places like that. And Cambridge we went to one year, and, you know, up Wolves a couple of times. Yeah, went all over the gaff. And yeah, so that was some of those games in the early 1980s was fantastic. You know, the FA Cup, as I just mentioned, then the Milk Cup as well. That run in the Milk Cup, like, which we unfortunately lost to bloody Oxford. I was nicked before the game, you know, after being a dickhead as usual. So I didn't even get, luckily I say, I didn't get to see the game because I was stuck in a sweatbox in the car park in Wembley with other fans that had been nicked. Got a massive fine at Wilson Magistrates. And I didn't get to see it, but the old Bill was rubbing it in our faces every time Oxford scored, and what a shit day. You know, the beginning of it was a lovely day. Anyway, I'm supposed to be going on about the greatest games, not the shittiest games. Where the hell am I going with that one? So yeah, that the cup, right? The cup run, you know, was the quarter final. We played Chelsea at home. You know, I think we weren't on the plastic pitch. I think we was off them, but was we on the plastic pitch in '86 still? Jesus, my memory, man. I'm getting old, you know. Gee, I'm getting fucking old. Can't remember if it was on a plastic pitch or not, but anyway, we played Chelsea at home. Sure, it was 1-1, and we had the replay, which I thought, oh no, you know, I think we're going to lose the replay, but went anyway. It was a night game. I'd been to work, I remember that, and went to Stamford Bridge, and there was a good turnout of Rangers in there that night, and yeah, it was pissing down all night, and we won 2-0. Yeah, Mickey Robinson scored from the halfway line. I think they had a sub goalkeeper. Their goalie went off injured and had someone else in goal. But that ball, the ball went out and it got stuck in the mud a little bit. He hoofed the ball out. Mickey Robinson lashed the ball in, and everyone's going absolutely ballistic, man. And then Liverpool in the semi drew at home. No, we beat them 1-0 at home. Yes, beat them 1-0 at home. That was great. And then the coach trip up from the Goldhawk pub with all the boys. All the lads like Del Boy and all that lot. Everyone knows Del Boy, I'm sure. And all Victor was there. All the chaps from the Goldhawk pub. Tony Walker was probably on there. Had a drive up there, got there early doors. And we went in some pub called the Arkle. I got nicked again. Dumbo Dave got nicked again. But they let me out just in time for the half time, just the time after the half time. As I walked in the ground, we equalised to make it 1-1, and then the rest of the game was superb. 2 own goals Liverpool scored, so it was 2-2, and we went through on aggregate. That's another one of my all-time favourite matches. And then my memory, I keep thinking, you know, I missed out on the Wigan. No, not Wigan. I missed out on the Oldham semi-final playoff night at Loftus Road. Was I on a ban then? I might have been banned still to go to the games. But then the one against Wigan was good more recently, semi-final. That was a great night. And of course the playoff final at Wembley when we beat Derby. I can't even believe we even won that, to be honest. I've never cheered a goal. I've never celebrated a QPR goal at the same time as shaking my head. I'm like, yeah! How did we just win that? We were down to 10 men, right? And I thought that was it, end of. Down to 10 men, approaching extra time, yeah? We're out, man. We've lost, for sure, man. That's why the Derby fans were so pissed off. You know, we beat them, man. And that was excellent. 45,000, 45,000 Rangers fans waving their flags, going ballistic. It's superb. What a day that was to get back into the Premier after all those years, you know? Fantastic. There's many other games, you know, that over the years you could say was excellent, like beating Chelsea 6-0. That was brilliant. I was at that game as well, and rubbed it right in their faces. That one. I think they was even trying to win the league that year, but we stuffed them. I think West Ham had smashed them that week as well, just to rub insult into their wounds. Yeah, so. But those are just some of it. I could go on about a few more games, but I think I'll leave it there for now. And I'm going to chip open the book. Memoirs. My book, man. And love it or hate it. You probably hate it by now. I'm boring the pants off you with it. But these are the other people that, you know, some people I don't know in here. Most people I know, but a lot of people I don't know. I probably would have seen them by face at Rangers, but they kindly contributed. And these are some of the examples in the book. They're people's greatest games. My best pal Martin, his greatest game was Palace at home in the FA Cup quarter final. Exactly the same. I was with him. He mentions that as well. I was with him there, standing in the loft. Clive Allen sticking his finger at the Palace fans when he scored the winner. Loved it. Frank Kinner. The greatest game for him had to be the playoff final at Wembley, obviously against Derby. To be there with his family was very special. What a day. One he will never forget. So that's obviously a big one for a lot of people. Depends how old you are as well, I think. Nicky Filbert, FA Cup semi-final at Highbury, 82. And of course the playoff final at Wembley against Derby. So yeah, a lot of people mention them. Let's go for Johnny from Sutton. His greatest ever Rangers match. There has been so many standout matches, we can all say that. The Newcastle 5-5 game, the Chelsea 6-0, Palace 6-0. Yeah, that Palace 6-0 game was good when we stayed up. Sheffield Wednesday 3-1 to go up. A lot of these games I couldn't get. I was such a donut when I was younger. I was either banged up or on a ban. So I've missed a lot of these things. The greatest moment for Johnny from Sutton had to be beating Derby in a playoff final at Wembley. Down to 10 men for the majority of the match, and Derby was all over us, which they were. Up Bobby Zamora to send us into ecstasy. It's got to be one of the best moments in our history, hasn't it? All made the sweeter by how arrogant the Derby fans have been before the match. They genuinely thought they only had to turn up. Yes. And who remembers old mutton chops on the telly? What was it he said? Fucking wankers. Unlucky, son. Ben Walsh, greatest game was beating Sheffield Wednesday 3-1 to win promotion. Great turnout. As I say, I think I was on a band on that, so I didn't even get to that. Great turnout. I love watching the goals and everyone celebrating on the pitch afterwards and stuff. Alan Wootton, although he's been to many memorable matches in the last 60 odd years, nothing comes close to the League Cup final win over West Brom. And fair play to those that was there. I was born the year after that, so I wouldn't have even been able to go anyway. Unlike the other famous games we saw at Wembley when we beat Derby, we deserved to beat West Brom with our team full of skill and flair. Probably like Rodney Marsh, Lazarus and all that lot. Never seen a film of that game, but I remember it so well. Despite being the underdogs from the third division and 2-0 down, we won. You know, that is a fairy tale jobby, isn't it? Fairy tale story. Frankie, greatest game in terms of the result and overall day would have to be the playoff final win against Derby. And what he says about that was really raw over stuff, playing the majority of the game with 10 men and grabbing a last gasp winner. It was a really special experience of seeing the team lift a trophy at Wembley. Do we lift a trophy? Do you get one for the play? Yeah, I suppose you do get a playoff trophy, don't you? It's hard to beat. Maybe a little part of him would be preferred to have seen the FA Cup in Joey Barton's hands, but the playoff trophy is a great achievement. Yeah, you're not wrong there, Frankie. Alan Jones. Greatest game attended was Easter 86 for Chelsea the Scum, 1-6-0 with a hat-trick from Bannister. Awesome. Yep, was indeed. Tony Nicholson, best match must be the playoff final against Derby. It was sheer elation to finally win at Wembley. Yeah, to finally win at Wembley. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Derby seems to be a big one, doesn't it? I think that's a favourite for most people. Lewis Morris, all-time favourite games have to be any of the home games in the UEFA Cup run of 1977, as there was all midweek and under the floodlights of a magic. So I like that. It's unique, a bit more something different. Yeah, the UEFA Cup games in '77. Stephen Condon, my mate's son. Greatest game for him has to be winning the playoff final against Derby. What a day and what an experience and what a win. 40,000 plus fans were in ecstasy. We was with Steve that day as well. It was great, fantastic. I even had 1-0 down the bookies actually. We was at South Ruislip beforehand and loads of Rangers were there. Went and slipped in the bookies and had a 1-0 for us to win. So I won a few quid. Not loads, but enough just to make the day even sweeter. Nicky Blackmarket will probably sound a bit odd, but one of the best games we've been to was Man City when we stayed up and we still lost 3-2. I was at that as well, Nicky. That was fantastic, wasn't it? At Man City in the Etihad. Joey Barton was sent off. Yeah, I thought it was proper bad. I thought we were going to go down, actually. I thought that was going to seal our relegation. But we had our backs to the wall. We still held our own until the last few minutes. Still think there was some odd business at the end of that game. Some odd business. I think Nicky might mean we threw the match. I don't know. But there was also odd business in the fact that both sets of fans sort of invaded the pitch, although they overshadowed us, obviously. And It's the first time I've ever been to a game, ever, where fans have hugged each other at the end. You know, it was literally because we'd stayed up, we were happy, and because they had won the league, they were happy, and everyone was hugging each other. You know, really shaking each other. But I tell you what, when we was winning 2-1, that weren't the case. I think we were winning 2-1. I think it was going to kick right off, proper. There'd have been a riot after that game if they'd have lost that. Anyway, yeah, that's another story. John Simo, playoff final against Derby, of course. The day with the lads and the atmosphere was unreal from start to finish. Not that he remembers how he got home, I can imagine not. Just gutted his boy Adam missed it being away with the army cadets. Yeah, his boy goes to Rangers with him a lot, doesn't he now? He's obviously followed his old man's footsteps there. Ricky D, I've got to say, despite it being nowhere near a classic, the playoff final victory over Derby at Wembley was just the stuff of dreams. To win in the last minute at Wembley with a Bobby Zamora goal was literally raw over stuff, and the fact he was there with his kids and pals to witness it will never leave him. Pretty sure we'll never see that again in his lifetime. Never know, Ricky. Keep the faith. Who knows? We might get to Wembley again. Never know. Never know. Mark Douglas, either at Wembley beating Derby or Man City away when they won the league. He was with us. Mark came on the coach, the LSA coach with us to that game. I know we lost, but we stayed up and being part of. Actually, that game was voted. Where it was voted, but that's been voted the best ever Premier game in history. QPR v Man City, or Man City v us, should I say? So there's one. You know, we've actually got the pleasure of attending the bestest ever game voted for the Premier. Chris D, the greatest game has to be the playoff final with Derby. Great atmosphere, great friends, and the half-time refreshments. Himself and his mate Brad have made sure it was a great evening too. Yeah, I bet he did both. Mark Davis, who's got Hoops Down Under. He's got Hoops Down Under on Facebook, I think. I'm not sure if it's a website as well, because he lives in Oz. And he's never ever even been to a Rangers game, bless him. He's never attended any matches. But we can't judge him for that. But if he could choose one game he wished he had have been at, it would have been that Liverpool comeback. The Liverpool comeback being the one in the Premier when we was 2-0 down, 3-2. We won 3-2. Jamie Mackie scoring the winner. Yeah, that sounded like a rocking atmosphere. I missed that one as well. Like, yeah, that was well good, man. Alan Moore, greatest game, beating Derby at Wembley. Not for the game, but the way we won it at the end. Never heard such a noise when that goal went in. Yeah, it's a bit. The Derby's definitely a big theme, isn't it? Kick up the R's, Dave Thomas. In the 1976-77 UEFA Cup, he travelled by coach to watch QPR play Slovan Bratislava. They had supplied 7 of the Czech team who just became European champions. The game ended 3-3 and remains the best performance he's ever seen from a QPR team. We were brilliant and won the return leg 5-2. That's how good we were in the mid-70s. Yeah, man. Shame I missed out them sort of days. Those days must be halcyon days, you know. Jane Ferber, big up Jane. Her greatest game has to be, I know she hasn't been to loads and loads of games, so bless, you know, but her favourite has to be the Leeds game at home when we got promoted back to the Premier. When the fouling gate thing was announced and we didn't have the points deducted, that was a great celebration. And yeah, and the banner of my channel, there's a banner on the channel, my YouTube channel, is a photo of us outside the Conningham, I think it was, when we were celebrating. Everyone was celebrating on the streets after that game, weren't we? We got promoted back to the Premier. Jane's there, you could just see the top of her head actually, I think, on that photo. And she also said Palace 6-0, the one we won to stay up, was one of her favourites. Robert Elms of BBC Radio London. All victories against Chelsea are great, yes, you know, but scoring 6 at Loftus Road was pretty special, for sure, man. And Bradley Hefford, last one. Port Vale away, 1994, he thinks. Could have been 94. It was a Sunday, 1 PM kick-off. And I remember this because I was at home in Catford with my first wife, actually. Listening, well, I was sort of keeping an eye on the teletext, I think it was. 4-0 down with 30 minutes to go and came back to 4-4. John Spencer got the equaliser in the last minute in front of about 700 Rangers fans. We went fucking berserk. About 20 ran on the pitch. What an unbelievable game. I think everyone got nicked for going on the pitch and had to go back to court for that as well. A bit sour grapes that is, isn't it, really? But yeah, I remember that. I couldn't believe even seeing on the text I'd given up hope. 4-4, and I think we were fighting for relegation that year as well. Yeah, and that was such a result. Johnny Spencer, even though he's a scum reject, him and Gavin Peacock, when they come to us, like, yeah, they were pretty decent. So yeah, so that's that chapter out of the way. My greatest game and other people's greatest matches and all that. And I'll leave it there tonight. And yeah, get thinking about what your greatest games were. I hope it stirs up some good memories. Another bit of slice of QPR memoirs, slice of memories. Sleep safe, peeps, and I'll catch up again with you tomorrow. All the best, brothers. You are.